Being a creator this year is both the easiest that it's ever been, and it's also the hardest. I've seen a lot of creators talking about burnout again and just pushing themselves too hard to stay consistent with everything that's going on. Everyone has access to a camera, and the barrier to entry has lowered to the point where basically anybody can become a creator. And so where does that leave us? For those of us who've been around for a while, for those of us who've been feeling the pressure to just keep making more and more and more. And I think that's pushing a lot of creators to walk away from what they're doing, or even just reconsider how they're even going to make content in the future. And that includes me. This video was originally made for a second channel that I was working on that was going to be all silent hiking adventures. I started stacking more and more content on different channels, and I really had to just take a step back and look at everything that I was doing to realize I was just trying to do too much. But beyond this hustle culture, there's been a lot of other things going on as well. First, the creator economy has changed so much. It's become massive. Millions of people are making income online, and a lot of people's side hustles are now turning into full-time careers. And there's just so many places to post content, and everyone's trying to optimize to make money, that it's just changed the way that we even approach social media. There's been so many new monetization features that it feels like you're just missing out if you don't have everything turned on and you're trying to make money in every way that exists out there. Right now, we're living in one of the most opportunity-rich times for creators, but it's overwhelming with all the different things that you can do to be able to make an income off of this career. But that's just one part of the whole equation. You have the noise and the saturation. Everyone has access to a camera, and everyone has access to AI tools, and the barrier to entry is basically gone. Anybody can make easy content that can reach millions of people, and it's harder than ever to stand out because there are so many people trying to optimize and get the most views. And I think a big part of that has also become the way that these platforms are constantly changing. Back when I started YouTube, it was much more subscriber driven, but as things have evolved and as things have changed, it's now become all algorithm driven. And these algorithms are improving algorithms, and everything is just going through the filtration of optimizing systems. And so you have the For You feed, which really started on TikTok, but now every platform uses this model, where basically content is just fed to you based on what you've previously watched. And so even if you hit subscribe on a channel, it doesn't really matter because it's the more that you're watching a certain type of content, the more it's going to be fed to you. And really these platforms are trying to optimize your experience so that you keep coming back and you stay on the platform as long as possible. They don't want you to leave. And it's forcing us as creators to feel like we always have to be running this rat race of always making content, always posting, always trying to stay in that For You feed. AI doesn't replace creativity, but it is going to give tools that's going to allow us to create a little bit differently. There's no reason that we should be resistant to AI because it's not going away. These tools are here. These tools are going to be used. So as creators, we need to find ways to use these tools in our creation and not always fight the things that are new. Instead, we need to focus more on storytelling. We need to focus on how we can inject ourselves into the content that we're producing. Things like tutorials and reviews are still going to matter, but you could also just type ideas into AI and it will tell you exactly how to do something, or it'll give you a ton of information on how something works. Whereas storytelling is still going to be grounded in the creator who's telling that story. It comes from that connection. It comes from that experience. And when you build a community around your stories, that's when you become a creator that's rising above the noise. Because viewers aren't just consuming, they want to feel something. And so that's why I think burnout has become at an all-time high. There's this constant need to always be posting, always be building new systems, always be on top of everything that's happening. But there's also this new wave happening underneath of creators that are trying to prioritize balance and long-form work and meaningful projects. And it's about sharing the truth. It's not about just chasing the algorithm, but building a type of content that fits the way that you want to live. And so I think there's an evolution coming where there's always going to be creators that are trying to punch to the top and get to the highest virality and make the most amount of money and just make the endless content that gets endless clicks on their products and all of that. But really, I think there's this potential for a completely different world of creators to emerge. Like, what is your story? What do you want to bring to the table? What do you want to connect with the viewers on the other side of your channel? You can become just a content machine, just pumping out videos to try and move the needle. But through the beginnings of time, storytellers have always been the ones who shaped the culture, and storytellers have always thrived. We remember stories, and that's how we connect to each other. In a world that never stops shouting and the noise never stops creeping in, being a creator can feel like just constant grind. The algorithms, the AIs, the trends, the pressure to keep up, but the real power isn't in chasing all of that. It's in taking a step back. It's putting down that phone, turning off the computer, touching grass. Grounding yourself in reality and having real experiences, because when you can reconnect with the world around you, when you can find a real community, and when you can live this experience with others, that's where you're going to find the stories that are worth actually telling. And that's the kind of creation that's going to last.